Alright, so that was pretty brutal, if I must say, and we're in standard tuning, and you're about to play this riff. You and I, we're going to play this together. I'm going to show you what we're doing here, and a few tips on how to make even E standard sound just brutal and heavy. Now, real quick, this song, I actually didn't write this riff on my own. Brad Mater from Must Not Kill, he and I wrote this together, so I'll link to that video with the full song at the end of this video. Real quick, before we dive in, if you're part of the Jason Stallworth Guitar Academy, thank you, by the way, but you also have the tabs and all the backing tracks for this lesson. So there are 3 parts to this riff. We'll break them down piece by piece. This is the first part that we're going to learn. Part of how we're making this so heavy sounding and so brutal sounding is we're using what's called inversions here. And if you look at the power chord, so if we were playing just the power chords, I want to explain this real quick, and of course we'll play through it together and I'll throw the tabs up, all that good stuff. But let me just break this down real quick. So if we were just playing the power chords to this riff here, we would be playing. So this is based on an A power chord, a B power chord, and a C power chord. You can see exactly what I'm playing here. What we're doing is we're taking the second note of that power chord, right? So let's say the A power chord, for example, how we start on that, the open A string, and then we've got the D string 2nd fret. Well, the inversion, what's called an inversion, is we're actually starting with the lower octave of the 2nd note. Again, 2 notes for the A power chord, open A string. That next note is the D string 2nd fret, right? So that lower octave of that D string 2nd fret, which is an E, that lower octave would be what? Your open E string. So instead of playing the A like this, we're starting out palm muting that chuggy. Whoa, that sounds brutal, right? Now, what I'm doing here, and again, I'll throw the tabs up, and just follow me here, okay? What I'm doing here, I'm not actually playing all 3 strings at this part. You could, that wouldn't be wrong. Remember, there's no right or wrong way. It's just what fits the riff that you're writing. And I want you to take these home with you. Well, you're probably home right now, but take these as you're writing your own riffs. Take this and do whatever with it, right? Just run with it. What we're doing though is I'm just palm muting the first 2 open strings, because I'm doing that very quickly before we go to this. Okay, now after that, we're playing the B power chord, but remember, we're starting with the lower octave of that 2nd note of that power chord. So your B power chord is what? A and D strings 2 and 4. B and an F sharp, right? Well, that lower, we're starting with that lower octave of that 2nd note, that F sharp, which is. And then the same with the next power chord, okay? The C power chord, same thing. Okay, so again. Now, the other part to that, okay, is we just go to a variation of the F power chord, which is going to be the E and A strings, frets 1 and 2. And again, I'm just palm muting those 2 notes there. Let's go through this slowly. I'll throw the tabs up for that entire piece there. Let's go through that slowly a couple of times, then I'll play it at normal speed. The riff's not like insanely fast anyway. It's not supposed to be. This is just one of those just brutal, like heart-pounding, you know, kind of like, I don't know. I can't come up with cool enough words for it. All right, let's just play this. Very brutal. Now, after we run through that entire thing, we go back through that again, but the end part, instead of this right here, we're doing a really cool alternate picking riff, and this sounds really wicked, by the way. So let me play this in context, okay, so you can hear the whole thing together. Then we'll break that piece down, and of course I'll throw up the tabs after that. It's really not a lot of notes. I mean, it sounds like a lot sometimes because you're just alternate picking. It's getting more into that like death meets black metal style here. So we're starting out on the D string on the 5th fret, and I'm just using my pinky for that note. Then I'll go all the way, and this is why I'm using my pinky, we're going all the way to the 1st fret after that. Then we're going to go up to the 2nd fret, then we're going over to the A string 3rd fret. So the notes are this. And then all we're doing is just applying that alternate picking. Okay, so what we're going to do at this point, we're going to play this all the way through up to what we just learned now, okay? So I'm going to start out with the first half that you learned, because I want you to play this riff in context. It's a little bit easier to learn in context, like as we're, you know, like we're on stage. You and I, we're on stage right now, okay? So we have to know this together. We got to be in sync. All right, so I'm going to throw the tabs up. I'm going to play through this a little slower, okay? And then we'll speed it up to the normal speed. This very last part is very, very simple, and actually this is how Brad and I ended this little riff that we wrote, and it's just that chord that we played, the F chord that we played, right? The E and the A strings, frets 1 and 2. Let's go through this just a couple of times. There's a little rhythm here too. It's not like just playing the chord and palm muting, right? There's a little cadence that I want you to follow here as well. Now, a about the song here. Before we get to that though, real quick, if you do not have my practice guide, Metal, Riffs, and Licks, it is a complete, really a complete metal guitar system. Whether you're just starting out or you've been playing for a while and you just need to kind of get to that next level, this guide will help you. It's helped thousands of my YouTube subscribers. I give it away to all my YouTube subscribers, so if you don't have that, download a copy. It's called Metal, Riffs, and Licks. Link in the description. If you already have that, and then videos like this help you, and you've watched several other of my YouTube videos and my style of teaching, it's for you. It's really helped you get to that next level. Well, consider joining my Guitar Academy. I've got links to all of this good stuff in the description of this video. So yeah, I wrote this with Brad Mader. Now, he is the frontman and the founder of the extreme metal band called Must Not Kill. They're in the Tampa area, so do check them out. I have a link to their band in the description as well. But they've got some great tunes out there. And the cool thing about Must Not Kill is they don't sound like anybody else. No one sounds like them. They really have dialed in their own sound over, I would say over the years. I think over the decades more like it though. But yeah, Brad's a good friend of mine. He also works with Dean Guitars, which is why I have this Vengeance V sitting in my lap here. I got to play these things with a strap though, man, because man, V's, you know how they're like tough to play here. But yeah, this is the Vengeance. Got the Fluence pickups, Fisherman Fluence pickups. It also has the Evertune on here as well. So cool guitar, really awesome guitar. Having a great time playing this. This thing plays like butter. I've got to give it back in a couple of days here though. But yeah, he brought a couple Deans over for us to jam on and write something with. And like again, him and I collaborate from time to time. But writing with Brad is interesting for me because he has a completely different style than I do. I'm more of a melodic player, and that's just what I like. You know, it's just my style. He's more of like extreme metal, kind of all over the place. So a lot of times I'll get inspiration from jamming with him to kind of stretch myself a bit and go outside my melodic norm, if you will. So it's pretty cool. On that note, no pun intended, well the pun's always intended, check out our video that we have. We go into the Dean guitars that we're playing, of course. I think you'll enjoy that video next if you haven't seen that yet. But guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope this lesson helps you. I hope it stretches you a little bit with your creativeness and everything, technique and everything. So let me know if you have any questions in the comments. As always, keep it metal and keep playing music.